There are costs and risks to a program of action, but they are far less than the long-range risks and costs of comfortable inaction. John F. Kennedy. Greetings, I'm Dr. Will, and welcome to Dr. Will's Software Project Leadership channel, where we focus on building real software for real problems. Risk is defined as the possibility of suffering harm or loss, danger. The harm or loss associated with software development is usually the cost and schedule risk for the developers and their customers. But sometimes life, health, and safety are at risk as well. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you. If you'd like more content like this, then subscribe and hit the bell below to be notified of new content. Medical software, do no harm, right? Buggy software powering the Therac 25 medical radiation therapy device caused several cases where massive overdoses of radiation were administered to patients in 1985 to 1987. Patients received up to 100 times the intended dose, and at least 3 of them died as a direct result of the overdose. In another case, in 2000, therapy planning software from a U.S. company, Multidata, delivered different doses depending on the order in which the data was entered. It resulted in massive overdoses for some patients. At least 5 of them died. It may be much higher than that, but it's difficult to determine whether the 21 people who died in the following years did so as a result of their cancer or radiation treatment. What is at risk depends on the problem domain. The more severe the consequences, the more care should be taken to manage the risks. As I said, there's always a risk that schedules and budgets can be blown, creating risk for the development organization and their customer. That's a given. Serious domain risks, though, create a need for more ceremony and formality in the software development process, which is often mandated by the customer who's going to share that risk. Avionics and flight control software, for example, put passengers, air crews, and airframes at risk. Safety of flight. Medical equipment, potentially lives, but health and well-being are certainly at stake. SaaS products, well, depending on how important the software is to your customer's business, could be a mortal risk to their operations. See, thank you, fire department, and hence the jobs of all their employees. Games, well, okay, nobody's going to be injured by a game bug. Anytime we build anything, software or material good, there's some risk associated with it. We are all familiar with the saying, for the want of a nail. It goes like this: for the want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For the want of the shoe, the horse was lost. For the want of the horse, the rider was lost. For the want of the rider, the message was lost. For the want of the message, the battle was lost. For the want of the battle, the kingdom was lost. All for the want of a horseshoe nail. It only works in hindsight, which is why we should manage risks proactively. We don't want to look back someday and see that owing to our carelessness or our inattention to detail, others suffered. Be aware that the customer who demands an early release of the software for, say, marketing purposes will blame the developer for buggy software if any problems arise. So don't get pushed. None of this is to say that we should not take calculated risks, but that we must be aware that we are doing so. As they say, it isn't a calculated risk if you aren't calculating. So what can we do about it all? Well, there are 4 things you can do about risk, and we'll be talking about each of them in future episodes. First, you can avoid them. You can turn down a project or change the scope or the schedule to avoid the risk. You can mitigate them. You can change the suppliers or provide equipment and training to the workers in order to lessen the chance of the risk occurring or the impact. You can transfer the risk. You can transfer it to insurance, which is the purpose of insurance, is to manage risk, or to another contractor, or to another part of the system. And that happens a lot, by the way, when you have multiple contractors working on a large project. You will see a push and pull of risk and complexity in the system being shoved across interfaces to different parts of the system. It's fun to watch. Finally, you can accept the risk. You can create a contingency plan so that you can work around that risk. Helen Keller once said, "A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn." So, stay focused. Don't miss the turn. This channel is dedicated to helping software projects succeed, not just in the short term, but in the long. So if you'd like more content like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell below to be notified when it becomes available. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the comment section below and we'll be happy to entertain them at a later date. That's it for me, for you for now. Have a great day, a great week. Be careful out there. I'll be seeing you. Bye.